Before we dive into this heart-wrenching tale of betrayal, resilience, and unexpected twists, please share in the comments which city or state you're tuning in from. It's a privilege to have you here with me today. Grab a cup of tea, settle in, and let's unfold this powerful story together. Remember, life has a way of surprising us when we least expect it. The monsoon rains had been relentless that year in Mumbai, turning the bustling streets of Bandra into slick, reflective mirrors under the sodium streetlights. Priya stood by the balcony of their sea-facing apartment in Pali Hill, watching the waves crash against the promenade below. The salty breeze mixed with the earthy scent of wet soil, a reminder of her childhood in a small town near Pune. She had moved to the city 5 years ago, right after marrying Arjun Mehta, the heir to one of Mumbai's largest real estate empires. Back then, everything felt like a fairy tale: the grand wedding at the Taj Mahal Palace, the honeymoon in the Maldives, and the promise of a life filled with love and luxury. But tonight, as she prepared dinner in their spacious kitchen with its imported marble counters and state-of-the-art appliances, something felt off. Arjun's phone buzzed incessantly on the dining table. She glanced at it absent-mindedly while chopping fresh coriander for the butter chicken, his favorite. The screen lit up with a name: Riya. Not a colleague, not a family member. Priya's heart skipped a beat. The calls kept coming, one after another, persistent like the rain outside. "Arjun, your phone," she called out, her voice echoing through the hallway toward the master bedroom where he was showering after a long day at the office. No response. Curiosity gnawed at her. She picked up the phone, her thumb hovering over the answer button. Before she could decide, Arjun burst out of the bathroom, towel wrapped around his waist, water dripping from his hair. He snatched the phone from her hand with a force that made her flinch. "What the hell, Priya?" "That's private," he snapped, his eyes flashing with irritation. She stared at him, stunned. It was ringing nonstop. "I thought it might be important." He turned away, answering the call in a hushed tone as he walked to the balcony. "Hey, calm down. I'm here." "What's wrong?" "Baby, don't cry. I'll sort it out. I promise." The word baby hit Priya like a thunderbolt. She froze, the knife still in her hand, the coriander forgotten. Arjun hung up and turned back, his face a mask of forced composure. "It's work. A client in distress. Nothing to worry about." But Priya wasn't buying it. The tenderness in his voice, the way he whispered assurances, it was the same tone he used to use with her during their early days. Now, it felt like a dagger twisting in her chest. She set the knife down carefully, her hands trembling. "Arjun, who's Riya?" He sighed, rubbing his temples. "Just someone from the office. Look, I'm tired. Let's eat." Dinner was silent, the butter chicken growing cold on their plates. Priya pushed her food around, her appetite gone. That night, as Arjun slept soundly beside her, she lay awake, staring at the ceiling fan whirring above. The rain pounded against the windows, mirroring the storm brewing inside her. Over the next few weeks, the signs piled up like unpaid bills. Arjun came home late, reeking of a floral perfume that wasn't hers, jasmine and musk, cloying and unfamiliar. His phone was now password protected, and he guarded it like a secret treasure. Family gatherings at the Mehta mansion in Juhu suddenly stopped including her. Mrs. Rekha Mehta, her mother-in-law, who once doted on her with saris and jewelry, now answered her calls with curt excuses. "We're occupied, beta. Maybe next time." Even Mr. Vikram Mehta, the patriarch who built Mehta Estates from a single plot of land into a multi-crore empire, avoided her at a recent Diwali party. He nodded politely but looked through her as if she were invisible. Priya knew why. For 5 years, she had endured the silent judgment of infertility. Endless doctor visits, 2 failed IVFs, hormone injections that left her bloated and emotional, and a miscarriage at 7 weeks that shattered her world. The doctors diagnosed polycystic ovarian syndrome, prescribing more treatments, more hope. But in the Mehta family, hope wasn't enough. They needed an heir, a son to carry the legacy, to inherit the boardrooms and beachfront properties. Priya's failures weren't just personal, they were a threat to the dynasty. One humid afternoon, as Priya sipped chai in their living room overlooking the Arabian Sea, her phone rang. It was Rekha auntie, her voice clipped and formal. "Priya, come to the mansion at 4 p.m. sharp. Alone. And don't be late." Priya's stomach churned. "Is everything okay, Ma?" "Don't call me that anymore," Rekha snapped. "Just be here." The line went dead. Priya's hands shook as she set the cup down. What could it be? Had something happened to Arjun? She dressed quickly in a simple salwar kameez, avoiding the designer outfits Rekha had gifted her, and hailed a cab to Juhu. The Mehta mansion was a sprawling villa with manicured lawns, a fountain in the driveway, and security guards at the gates. Raju, the longtime watchman, gave her a sympathetic nod as he let her in. "Go straight to the study, madam." The study was a room of power, teakwood panels, leather-bound books on real estate law, and framed photos of Vikram shaking hands with politicians. Rekha and Vikram sat behind a massive desk, a stack of papers between them. Arjun was nowhere in sight. "Sit," Vikram commanded, his voice like gravel. Priya perched on the edge of a chair, her heart pounding. "What's this about?" Rekha leaned forward, her diamond earrings glinting under the chandelier. "You know about Ria by now, I assume. She's pregnant. With twins. A boy and a girl, the scans show." The words slammed into Priya like a tidal wave. She gripped the armrests, her knuckles white. "What?" "Arjun, he—" "Yes, your husband," Vikram interjected coldly. "We need an heir. You've failed us for 5 years. Ria has succeeded where you couldn't." Tears welled in Priya's eyes, but she blinked them back. "So that's it? You're throwing me out." Rekha slid the papers across the desk. "We're offering you 30 crore rupees, about $3 million. Sign the divorce papers, an NDA, and disappear. Leave Mumbai for at least 3 years. No contact, no scandals." Priya scanned the documents. Clauses forbidding media interviews, social media posts, even using the Mehta name. Why? Why pay me to vanish? Vikram's eyes narrowed. "To avoid a messy court battle. Our lawyers would destroy you. The city would call you the barren gold digger. Take the money, start over." Rekha added, almost kindly, "It's for your own good, Beta. Watching Arjun marry Ria, seeing the twins, it would break you." Priya stood, clutching the papers. "I have 3 days?" 3 days, Vikram confirmed. That evening, Arjun came home early for once. Priya sat on the couch, the documents on the coffee table like a death sentence. He saw them and sighed. "You want to see my parents?" "Yes. They're paying me to leave your life." He sat opposite her, avoiding her gaze. "Priya, don't fight this. Ria's carrying my children. The family needs this." "Did you ever fight for me?" she whispered, her voice breaking. He looked up, exhaustion etched on his face. "I love her. I do. And if you drag this out, it'll get ugly." The confession was a final blow. Priya felt numb, as if her heart had turned to stone. That night, Arjun slept in the guest room, the distance between them vast and irreversible. The next morning, nausea hit Priya like a truck. She rushed to the bathroom, vomiting until her stomach ached. Stress, she thought. The betrayal, the pressure, it was all too much. But when it happened again after breakfast, and her favorite masala chai smelled repulsive, a faint suspicion stirred. Could it be? Arjun left for work without a word. Alone, Priya drove to a discreet clinic in Andheri, far from the elite hospitals the Mehtas frequented. She chose it after hours of online research, ensuring anonymity. The doctor, a kind woman in her 50s, listened patiently. "Let's run some tests." Priya waited in the sterile hallway, flipping through outdated magazines, her mind racing. Finally, the nurse called her in. "Congratulations," the doctor said with a smile. "You're pregnant. About 7 weeks." Priya's world tilted. "But I have PCOS. Years of treatments, failures." The doctor showed her the results. "Miracles happen. The baby looks healthy." Tears streamed down Priya's face as she left the clinic. Rain poured outside, but she didn't care. She sat in her car, hand on her belly, laughing and crying. 5 years of pain, and now, when everything was crumbling, life bloomed inside her. Her best friend from college, Neha, met her at a nearby cafe. Neha, who had stuck by her through thick and thin, listened wide-eyed. Priya, don't tell them. Sign the papers and run. They'll see the baby as property, not yours. That night, Priya pored over the documents in bed, her medical file beside them. The choice crystallized: fight and risk losing everything, or take the money and build a new life for her child, away from the Mehta's clutches. On the third day, she called Rekha. I'll sign at 3 p.m. The Mehtas were surprised by her calm demeanor. No tears, no bargaining. Priya signed swiftly, her only demand: no public announcements about the divorce reasons. And I leave immediately. Vikram nodded. Agreed. As she left, Raju whispered at the gate, Take care, madam. You're stronger than they know. The 30 crore hit her account that evening. Arjun came home to find her packing only her pre-marriage belongings. Thank you for not fighting, he said, relief evident. Priya didn't respond, zipping her suitcase. Neha saw her off at the airport the next morning, hugging her tightly. Call me daily. And remember, you're free now. The flight to Goa lifted off, Mumbai's skyline fading below. Priya touched her belly. It's just us now, little one. Goa welcomed her with golden beaches and swaying palms. She rented a cozy villa in Candolim, overlooking the sea. The money's interest would sustain her. The principal was for the baby's future. Mornings were spent walking the shore, evenings reading books on motherhood. At 12 weeks, an ultrasound showed a strong heartbeat. All good, the doctor said. Priya clutched the printout, her anchor in the storm. Neha's calls brought updates. Arjun was spiraling, drinking, arguing with his parents. The wedding to Riya was set for summer at a lavish resort in Udaipur. Then, a bombshell: Riya on bed rest, complications. Weeks later, Neha called excitedly. The DNA test. The twins aren't Arjun's. She's been with someone else, a business associate. Wedding's off. Priya felt a mix of vindication and pity. The empire's heir was a lie. Arjun appeared in Goa a week later, disheveled and broken. They met at a beach cafe, Neha's recommended lawyer present. I was fooled, he admitted. Parents want to fix this. Full custody to you, no claims. Priya met his eyes. You chose. Now live with it. Be a father on my terms. He agreed. Labor came in the monsoon, Neha by her side. A healthy boy cried into the world. Arjun visited days later, holding his son with awe. Rekha followed, humbled. May I see him? Priya set boundaries. A year on, life was hers, tutoring online, raising her son in peace. The Mehtas visited sparingly, respecting her rules. She whispered to her boy, You'll never face what I did. I promise. The first monsoon of her new life in Goa arrived early and fierce. Waves pounded the shore outside Priya's rented villa like angry fists, and the wind rattled the wooden shutters. Inside, the air smelled of wet earth, incense, and baby powder. Little Arav, named after the ancient Sanskrit word for peace, was 3 months old now, a bundle of soft cheeks and curious dark eyes that mirrored her own. He slept in a bamboo cradle beside her bed, tiny fists curled near his face. Priya sat cross-legged on the floor mat, folding his tiny onesies with mechanical care. The rhythm soothed her. In the quiet hours after midnight feedings, when exhaustion blurred the edges of reality, memories crept in like uninvited guests. She remembered the day she signed the papers. The cool air-conditioned study in Juhu. Rekha's perfectly manicured nails tapping the desk. Vikram's voice, flat and transactional. This is business, Priya. Nothing personal. And Arjun, silent, eyes on the floor, already mentally gone. She had walked out of that mansion with nothing but the clothes on her back and a promise to herself, never again will I beg for love or belonging. Yet belonging had found her in unexpected places. Neha visited every other month, flying down from Mumbai with suitcases full of baby clothes, organic purees, and gossip that Priya pretended not to want. You should see the Mehta house now, Neha said one rainy afternoon, bouncing Arav on her knee while Priya brewed ginger tea. It's like a war zone. Rekha barely leaves her room. Vikram is screaming at board meetings. And Arjun. God, he looks like a ghost. Drinks every night at the club. People are talking. Priya stirred the tea slowly. He made his choice. But he's regretting it, Neha pressed gently. I heard he tried to contact you through a mutual friend last month. Blocked everywhere. Priya's hand paused. Good. Neha sighed. You're really done with him? Priya looked at Arav, who was gnawing happily on a teething ring. I'm done being anyone's second option. Or third. Or backup plan. That evening, after Neha left, Priya received the first unexpected call. The number was unknown, but the area code was Mumbai. She almost didn't answer. When she did, the voice on the other end was hoarse, broken. Priya, it's me. Arjun. Her pulse hammered. She walked out to the balcony, rain misting her face. What do you want? I needed to hear your voice. To know you're okay. And him. You don't get to do this, she said quietly. You don't get to call when your fairy tale collapses and expect sympathy. I'm not asking for sympathy, he whispered. I'm asking for forgiveness. I was blind. Stupid. I threw away the best thing. Stop. Her voice cracked like dry wood. You didn't throw me away because of Ria. You threw me away because I couldn't give you children. The moment the family decided I was defective, you agreed. You didn't fight. Not once. Silence stretched between them, filled only by the rain. I know, he said finally. And I hate myself for it. Every day. Seeing Arav's pictures that Raju secretly sends me, it kills me. I should have been there. For every kick, every scan, every sleepless night. Priya closed her eyes. You weren't invited. I know. But I'm asking now. Please. Let me be part of his life. Even if it's just once a month. Supervised. Whatever you want. She laughed bitterly. You think I trust you near him? After everything. I'm not asking for trust, he said. I'm asking for a chance to earn it. For him. Not for me. Priya ended the call without another word. That night she didn't sleep. Arav woke twice for feeds. Each time she held him, she felt the weight of decisions yet to be made. Was she punishing Arjun, or protecting her son? The next morning she called her lawyer in Panjim. Draft an agreement, she told him. Limited, supervised visitation. Once every 6 weeks. In a neutral place. No overnight stays. No photos without permission. And if he breaches even one clause, it ends forever. The lawyer paused. You sure about this, Priya? No, she admitted. But I don't want my son to grow up wondering why his father never tried. Even if the trying comes too late. The first visit was scheduled for a quiet cafe in Kalangata, far from tourist crowds. Priya arrived early, Arav strapped to her chest in a carrier. She wore sunglasses and a simple cotton kurti, nothing flashy, nothing that screamed money or vulnerability. Arjun walked in 10 minutes later. He looked worse than she expected. Cheeks hollow, eyes bloodshot, expensive shirt wrinkled. He stopped 5 feet away, as if afraid to come closer. Hi, he said softly. Priya nodded. Sit. He did. His hands shook slightly as he reached into his bag and pulled out a small, wrapped gift. For him. If it's okay. She unwrapped it carefully. A tiny silver bracelet with a small engraved OM symbol. Simple. Tasteful. Not ostentatious. It's beautiful, she said, surprised at the lack of sarcasm in her voice. Arjun's eyes filled. May I hold him? Priya hesitated. Then slowly unclipped the carrier and placed Arav in his father's arms. Arjun held him like he was made of glass. Tears slipped down his face unchecked. He's perfect, he whispered. He has your nose. And your mother's eyes. Priya looked away, throat tight. They sat in near silence for 40 minutes. Arjun spoke only to Arav soft nonsense words, apologies disguised as lullabies. When the time was up, Priya took her son back. Thank you, Arjun said, voice raw. For this. For not shutting me out completely. Don't thank me yet, she replied. This is probation. One mistake, and it's over. He nodded. I understand. As he left, he paused at the door. I'm getting help. Therapy. Trying to be better. Not for you, for him. And, maybe, someday for me. Priya didn't respond. But she watched him walk away into the afternoon sun, shoulders bowed, and felt something shift inside her. Not forgiveness. Not yet. But the tiniest crack in the wall she'd built. Months passed. Visits continued. Arjun never missed one. He arrived on time, left on time. Brought age-appropriate toys, never expensive ones. Read picture books in halting Hindi and English. Sang off-key nursery rhymes. Arav began to recognize him, reaching out chubby hands, babbling Dida one day that made Arjun freeze and then sob quietly into his shoulder. Priya watched from across the table, arms crossed, heart warring with itself. Meanwhile, Mumbai gossip reached Goa in fragments. Rekha had a mild stroke stress, they said. Vikram was grooming a cousin's son as potential successor. The company stock dipped. Boardroom whispers grew louder. The air that wasn't. One evening, as Priya rocked Arav to sleep, her phone rang again. This time it was Rekha. Priya almost didn't answer. But something, curiosity, perhaps pity, made her swipe. Priya. The voice was frail. No command, no ice. Just exhaustion. Yes. A long pause. I won't ask you to forgive me. I was cruel. I saw you as a vessel, not a person. I was wrong. Priya said nothing. I saw pictures, Rekha continued, of my grandson. He's beautiful. He looks like Arjun did at that age. And like you. Still silence. I don't expect anything, Rekha whispered. I just wanted to say, I'm sorry. And if there's ever a day when you feel I've earned even 5 minutes with him, I'll wait. Priya's chest ached. I'll think about it. That's more than I deserve, Rekha said. Thank you. The call ended. Priya sat in the dark, Arav warm against her chest, and cried for the woman she once called Ma, for the family that discarded her, for the girl who believed love was earned through perfection. Time moved forward. Arav turned 1. They celebrated quietly on the beach at sunrise. Neha flew down with balloons and a small cake. Arjun came too, bringing a handmade wooden rocking horse he'd learned to carve in therapy. That day, for the first time, Priya let him stay longer. They walked along the shore together, Arav toddling between them, holding both their hands. No words of reconciliation. No grand declarations. Just a small boy laughing as waves kissed his toes. Priya looked at Arjun over Arav's head. His eyes were clear now, no alcohol haze, no desperation. Just quiet gratitude. Thank you, he said again. This time, she didn't snap back. You're welcome, she replied. Soft. Not warm. But not cold either. Back at the villa that evening, after Arjun left for the airport, Priya sat on the balcony watching the stars emerge over the sea. She placed her hand on Arav's sleeping back. We're building something new, she whispered to him. Not perfect. Not like the fairy tale they sold us. But real. And ours. In the distance, a ship's light blinked on the horizon, steady, moving forward, no matter the storms behind. Before we step deeper into this emotional journey, if you're just joining us or haven't shared yet, drop a comment below with which city you're listening from today. Your support means everything. Now, let's continue Priya's story. The healing is slow, layered, painful, but powerful. Hold on tight. 2 years had passed since Arav's first birthday on that sun-kissed Goa beach. The little boy was now 3, full of endless questions, boundless energy, and a laugh that could melt even the hardest hearts. His hair had grown into soft black curls that bounced when he ran, and his vocabulary exploded daily with words like, "Why sky blue, mama?" and "Papa come today?" Priya's villa in Candolim had become a true home. She expanded the small veranda into a shaded play area with a swing made from recycled ropes and driftwood. She planted a kitchen garden, tulsi, curry leaves, tomatoes, chilies, tending it early mornings while Arav helped by digging with his plastic shovel and getting soil everywhere. Her online English literature tutoring business had grown steadily. She now had 20 regular students from across India and even a few from the UK and US. The income, combined with careful use of the interest from the 30 crore settlement, gave her financial independence she never dreamed possible. She no longer checked Mumbai news obsessively. The Meta Empire's troubles had faded from headlines into quiet boardroom battles. Vikram suffered a heart attack 6 months after Rekha's stroke and stepped back from daily operations. Arjun, surprisingly, had taken over more responsibly, cutting costs, restructuring debt, steering the company back toward stability. Gossip blogs called it the prodigal son's redemption arc. Priya read one article once, felt a flicker of something unnameable, then closed the tab forever. Visitation continued, now every 3 weeks instead of 6. The agreement had evolved organically. Arjun proved consistent, never late, never overstepping, always respectful. He brought Arav books about trains, dinosaurs, the sea. He taught him to build sandcastles with moats. He never once asked Priya for more than she offered. One Saturday in late November, the air crisp with the promise of winter, Arjun arrived carrying a large canvas bag. Arav spotted him from the gate and ran screaming, "Papa! Papa!" Arjun dropped to one knee, arms open. The hug was fierce, full of small boy strength. Priya watched from the doorway, arms folded, a soft smile she couldn't quite suppress tugging at her lips. "Look what I brought," Arjun said, pulling out 3 small wooden boats, hand-carved, painted in bright blues and reds. "For the pond in the garden. We can sail them together." Arav gasped in delight. Boat? Boat go water. They spent the afternoon by the small artificial pond Priya had dug last monsoon. Arjun sat cross-legged on the grass, sleeves rolled up, showing Arav how to gently push the boats so they didn't tip. Priya brought out lemonade and watched from a wicker chair under the mango tree. When Arav toddled over to her with wet hands and muddy knees, she scooped him up for a quick cuddle before he wriggled free to return to his father. Arjun glanced up at her. "He's growing so fast." "He is," Priya agreed. A comfortable silence fell. The kind that once would have been tense now felt almost peaceful. After Arav yawned for the 3rd time, Priya said, "Nap time soon. You can stay for lunch if you want." Arjun looked surprised, then grateful. "I'd like that." She made a simple meal, dal, rice, aloo sabzi raita. Nothing fancy. Nothing to impress. Just food. They ate on the veranda. Arav insisted on sitting between them, chattering nonstop about his boats, his friend from playschool named Rohan, and how Mama sings best lullaby. Arjun listened with full attention, nodding seriously. When Arav finished eating and ran inside to fetch his favorite dinosaur toy, Arjun turned to Priya. "Thank you for today," he said quietly. "For letting me stay longer. For the food. For trusting me a little more." Priya met his eyes. They were clearer now, less haunted. The lines around them spoke of hard work and harder nights, but also growth. "I'm not doing it for you," she said honestly. "I'm doing it for him. He deserves to know his father isn't a stranger in photos." Arjun nodded. "I know. And I'm grateful every single day." Arav returned, climbing onto Arjun's lap with the toy. "Papa," T-Rex roar. Arjun obliged with an exaggerated roar that made Arav dissolve into giggles. Priya watched the scene, father and son, heads bent together, and felt the last stubborn knot in her chest loosen just a fraction. That evening, after Arjun left with promises to return in 3 weeks, Priya received another call. Rekha. She had called a handful of times over the past year, always brief, always careful. Never demanding. Always ending with the same soft request, "If you ever feel ready." Today, her voice sounded different. Weaker. "Priya. I won't take much of your time." Priya leaned against the kitchen counter. "What is it?" A long breath. "Vikram. He passed this morning." Quietly. In his sleep, Priya closed her eyes. She hadn't loved the man, not after what he did, but death still carried weight. "I'm sorry," she said, and meant it. Rekha's voice cracked. "He asked for you. In the end. Said he was wrong. Said he wished he could have met his grandson properly." Priya swallowed. "He had chances." "I know." Rekha paused. "The funeral is in 3 days. I won't ask you to come. But if you wanted to bring Arav to the house afterward, just to light a diya, I would be grateful. No pressure. No expectations." Priya was silent for a long time. "I'll think about it," she finally said. "Thank you," Rekha whispered. "And Priya, I'm proud of the mother you've become. Even from afar." The line went dead. Priya stood there, phone in hand, until Arav tugged at her kurti. "Mama sad?" She knelt, pulled him close. A little, Beta. But Mama's okay. That night she couldn't sleep. Memories flooded back, not just the pain, but the small moments. Rekha teaching her to make perfect modaks during Ganesh Chaturthi, Vikram once praising her for handling a difficult client call when Arjun was sick. Tiny kindnesses buried under years of cruelty. The next morning she called Neha. "Should I go?" she asked. Neha was quiet. "Only if it feels right for you. Not for closure they want. For whatever closure you need." Priya thought of Arav, how he asked about Dottie sometimes after seeing pictures Neha showed him. How he deserved to know his family wasn't just shadows. She called Arjun. He answered on the first ring. "Priya? Your father." "I know," he said softly. I'm handling arrangements. I'm thinking of coming. With Arav. Just for the Antim Darshan. Light a diya. Then leave." Arjun exhaled shakily. "You don't have to. I know. But maybe I do. For Arav. And maybe for me." "Thank you," he said, voice thick. "I'll make sure it's quiet. No media. No drama." 3 days later, Priya stepped off a flight in Mumbai for the first time in over 3 years. The air smelled different, thicker, full of exhaust and possibility. Arav clung to her hand, wide-eyed at the airport chaos. Arjun met them outside arrivals. No driver, no entourage. Just him, in a simple white kurta, eyes red-rimmed but steady. He knelt to Arav's level. "Hey, champ. Ready for a little adventure?" Arav nodded shyly. "Papa drive." Arjun smiled faintly. "Papa drive." The ride to Juhu was quiet. Arav fell asleep against Priya's shoulder. She stared out at the familiar skyline, Marine Drive, the Sea Link, billboards she once knew by heart. The Mehta mansion looked the same, grand, imposing. But the gates opened without fanfare. No security checks. Just Raju, older now, tears in his eyes as he bowed slightly. "Welcome back, madam." Priya didn't correct him. Inside, the house smelled of sandalwood and marigolds. The drawing room had been cleared. A small photo of Vikram garlanded with white flowers stood on a low table. Rekha sat nearby in a white sari, frail but composed. When she saw Priya and Arav, she rose slowly. No words at first. Just a long look. Then Rekha stepped forward, hands trembling, and touched Arav's cheek gently. "My beta." Arav looked up at Priya for permission. She nodded. He stepped closer. Rekha knelt, slowly, painfully, and Arav hugged her small neck. Rekha's shoulders shook with silent sobs. Priya watched, throat tight. Arjun stood beside her, not touching, just present. After lighting the diya, they sat for tea. No business talk. No apologies repeated. Just quiet stories, Vikram's childhood in a small village, his first deal, how proud he was, too late, of Arjun's turnaround. When it was time to leave, Rekha took Priya's hand. "You don't have to come again. But the door is open. Always. For both of you." Priya squeezed back once. "We'll see." On the drive to the airport, Arav asked, "Dottie nice?" Priya smiled through tears. "Yes, beta. Dottie is nice." Arjun glanced at her in the rearview mirror. "You okay?" She nodded. "Getting there." Back in Goa, life resumed its gentle rhythm. But something had shifted permanently. Rekha began sending small packages, homemade laddus, storybooks, a tiny gold chain for Arav's birthday. Never excessive. Always with a short note. "Thinking of you both." Arjun's visits became more frequent, agreed upon, never demanded. Sometimes he stayed overnight in the guest room when flights were delayed. He cooked breakfast, burnt parathas, and perfect chai. Arav loved it. One evening, as the three of them sat on the beach watching the sunset, Arav ran ahead chasing crabs. Priya and Arjun walked slowly behind. "I've been thinking," Arjun said carefully. "About us. Not pushing. Just, if there's ever space in your life for more than co-parenting. I'm here." Patiently. Priya stopped, looked at the horizon where sky met sea in a blaze of orange. "I don't know if I can ever forget," she said honestly. "The pain. The betrayal. I know. But I also see the man you're becoming. For him. For yourself." She turned to face him. "Friendship, maybe. Respect. Partnership in raising our son. Anything more." I can't promise. Not yet. Arjun nodded. That's more than I deserve. And enough for now. Arav ran back, grabbing both their hands. Mama. Papa. Look, Shell. They knelt together, admiring the small, perfect spiral. Priya felt the weight of years lift, just a little. She wasn't healed. Not completely. But she was whole. On her own terms. Surrounded by love she chose, not love she earned through suffering. As the sun dipped below the waves, she whispered to the sea, to herself, to her son. We made it. And for the first time in years, she believed it. If you felt the depth of Priya's journey, the pain, the strength, the slow bloom of healing, then this story touched your heart. Thank you for staying with me through every tear, every sunset, every small step toward peace. If this ending gave you hope, or made you believe in second chances wrapped in boundaries, like the story if it moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear that healing is possible. Subscribe so you never miss the next powerful life story that reminds us we are stronger than the storms we survive. And in the comments below, tell me, which moment in Priya's story hit you the hardest? Or simply write Part 2 deserved this ending, red heart. I read every single comment. Your words keep these stories alive. See you in the next one. With love and respect. Blue Heart.